Okay, guys and girls, let's get this show on the road. We are going to go live, coming to you from Bar Italia, and I'm just going to wait for this audience to build up and make sure that we've got people coming in. Yes, let's get this audience building up. Guys, I'm going to be using my mobile phone to, you know what I got to do? Let's get this audience building up. Thank you, guys and girls. Right, comments. Now what I need to do is, how do I get this sound off? Sound off, sound off. Go there, go here. Alrighty, so guys and girls, we'll go there, turn that down there. Here we go. Good day, guys and girls, coming to you from Bar Italia in Leichhardt. Thought I'd just do a bit of a change from my normal studio. I basically live about 2 or 3 minutes. This is, by the way, the area that I live in, this Haberfield Leichhardt area is known for mainly its Italian restaurants, cafes, probably the equivalent in Melbourne to Carlton. And firstly, a very happy Easter to all of those that celebrated Easter today. Orthodox Easter, Russians, Ukrainians, Greeks. So hi, hey Rob, hi everyone coming in. Hey Mohan, good to see you all. Let's say hi to a few of the people. Janelle, good to see you. Johnny Warren, good to see you. Jay Peters, Lachlan Cusack, good to see everyone coming in. So guys and girls, what a great rant we've got. And today, I'm actually even going to bring in the owner of the business. By the way, let me be very, very clear. I don't get no free meals here. I don't get no free coffee here. I'm just using a different environment, and I'm good mates with the owner, good mates with the owner's cousins, and we thought we'd shoot it here. And if he's around the place, where is he? He's not here at the moment. Anyway, when we see him, we'll get him. But guys and girls, one of the things I want to speak to you about today is the following. What I want to talk to you is about fakes. And I want to talk to you about this concept that I believe that it's important that you've got a fake radar, that you can actually pick fake dickheads up very, very soon. And I've identified a template to be able to outline and identify who these people are. And I'm going to tell you how to deal with them. So I'm going to give you the 7 signs of a fake and 4 steps in actually dealing with fakes. How are we going there, Gordon? All good? Coming through clear? Sounds all right? Beautiful. Guys and girls, so Luke Maroney should be dropped by Bar Italia. Guys, anyone that wants to come down, more than happy. Hey Tina, hey Russell, Simon, good to see you. Lisa Novak, good to see you in Thailand. Karen Terry, love watching Karen Terry put her soul buys up. That's her trademark. She's got to keep doing that. Anna Giannis, how you going? Andy Overman from the UK. Man, Lisa, Trevor, good day to you all. So guys, let's go through it. Number one, the number one clear factor of picking up a fake is that very early in the conversation, what will happen is the person will move the topic to something that is about them and elevates them, either financially, makes them, you know, they want to talk about how much money they've got or resources. Number 2 is they'll try and show that they've got an incredible social life and they'll elevate their social status. Or number 3, they look at, you know, elevating what they do in business or their professional career. So what you'll notice is that there'll be this conversation and they'll move it towards them. The second sign of a fake is that they'll name drop a lot. They'll say names of people, you know, that are famous, or they'll drop restaurant names, they'll drop holiday holiday destination names, they're always dropping because they're always associating themselves that they've got this incredible lifestyle. So they're not talking to you about 99% of their lifestyle, which is pretty mundane and, you know, routine oriented, and a lot of the times it's pretty fucked up. What they're talking to you is a little bit about things that are going to elevate their status. Number three. Hey, Danny's checking in from Wellington, and Danny's the sort of guy, and I don't want him to do it right here, but he's been able to show me so many fakes, particularly in the real estate industry on social media. And how do you pick a fake on social media? I got to tell you, they can buy a lot of likes. For instance, on Instagram, right? You go in and you buy fake likes. So they put a post up, and within about 30 seconds, there's 700 likes. There's hardly any engagement in any of their posts. You sometimes see the same in Facebook. Like in Facebook, what they'll do is that they'll have a post there and they'll just spend a fortune getting views, having this fake currency of views, but actually having very little impact because no one has actually looked past the first 3 seconds, no one's engaged, no one has shared it, no one likes it, no one comments on it, and you'll just see that in a post. So other signs of people that are fakes is that they'll align themselves to a high-profile person. And I was recently speaking at a seminar, and just before I was going to go on, the last speaker was the speaker on before me was on, and he just had a photo of him, I think it was Anthony Robbins, or it might have been some high-profile motivation speaker, and basically said, oh, well, by the way, here's a photo of this and here's a photo of that, right? So what they do is they try, because they've got this deficit on the inside where they're basically saying, hey, but look at me, I can actually do this. And people can actually smell that weakness, and I think that people are very, very attracted to vulnerability, right? People are far more attracted to actually hearing someone say, probably get up on the stage, hey, I'll be honest with you, I'm just shitting myself being here talking to you, but let me just tell you 5 things that have made a profound impact in what I do in my real estate career life. They may work for you, they may not, but this is what I do. I think people would far prefer that than having, someone sort of using the platform to elevate their status. But, the other things that they do is they don't listen when you talk. So this happens sometimes. You're having a conversation with someone, like where was it? I'd gone to an office opening, right? And there was some person there, they weren't in real estate, in another industry. And when you've got those cocktails coming around and you're sort of bunched up talking to people, and I just get into this conversation with someone, and after about 10, 15 seconds, you can tell the person was not listening, right? So I actually just said to him, I said, hey, listen, I noticed that when we're talking that you're sort of looking away and focused on something else, so maybe you should just go off and do that. And he was sort of fucking stunned that I actually, called it out. But it actually, to be honest with you, it suited me as well, because there are people that I would have rather been talking to. So sometimes you think to yourself, am I going to waste another 4 minutes here? So, they won't listen to you. They'll be sort of pretending to be listening, but you can tell when someone's listening or not, right? The next thing is they'll only want you, they'll call you when they need you, and there'll be very little contact at other times. And that to me is a sign of a fake, where they just contact you out of the blue. And I think that something that you should think about whether you do it yourself, right? I think really good relationships are not about when you need someone, but they're this ongoing, conversation that's going on. So how do you deal with fakes? How do you deal with fakes? Well, let's talk about that. Number one, my preferred strategy of dealing with fakes is, by the way, let me have a quick beer. I had a few beers today. It was Greek Easter, right? So I had a few beers. So, Gordon, what I had today, I'm just thinking about it. I had 2 beers. Yeah, this is my 3rd beer. Anyway, that's beside the point. Hey, Shane, Susan, the sign of a fake, they will only contact you when they need you. Correct. And they're all over you. When things are good, they're all over you. They're just jumping all over you. So, gang, how do you deal with them? How do you deal with them? Number 1, distance. Great strategy. Distance means that stay away. There are over 8 billion people on the planet now. So, you can actually choose on how much time you spend with these people. That's the first thing. The second thing is that sometimes you don't have a choice of distance. For instance, what if your brother-in-law is a fake dickhead that you just don't like? So what happens there is you limit your engagement because distance might not be an issue. Like for instance, Greek Easter, right? Or, a function you've got to go to, Mother's Day or that. That might not be an option if they're a family member, right? If they're, a relative or people in your inner circle that you can't choose to have distance with. My suggestion is that you limit engagement and you don't participate in it, right? And you can actually use distance within distance. So in other words, if you're at a function, you just make sure that you're actually not sitting to that person. And you keep your conversations very short. So let's move on to the 3rd strategy on how to deal with a fake. And that is to keep reminding yourself they are lying to themselves, not you, right? Because it can actually become demoralizing to actually think that this person thinks that they can get away with, lying, being deceptive to you or creating this fake persona, and they believe that you're going to get away with it. So one of the things that you should do is to maybe not think it's about you, but to realize it's about them. And the thing that it's about them is that they're lying to themselves, so in many ways you can actually feel sorry for them because you realize that they have to put a lot of work and time and effort to keep this fake image, going. And that's fucking draining. Like, just imagine every day you've got to, keep this fake persona going, right? It's the equivalent of, what, a closet gay would have been like, many years ago, where they've got 2 lives and it must be draining to go to work every day and basically keep it a big secret that you've got this true side to who you really are, and then you just sort of get home and say, okay, I can be myself again. And it's a little bit like that with fakes. So I'm hoping as you're listening to this conversation that one of the things you start doing is embracing your uniqueness, your unique psychological fingerprint. And everyone's got a unique fingerprint. If you get caught, and you get charged, they get your fingerprint. Well, I've got to tell you, it's the same. Everyone's got this unique psychological fingerprint, and you should embrace it. You should double down on it. You should be proud of it. You should actually find that is the thing that will make you most attractive to other people. We're going to talk about that in a moment. We're going to talk about guys picking up girls and girls picking up guys. And the reason I say that is, believe it or not, it is one of the most important. When I have a coaching session with a lot of single people, one of the things that comes up is they want to meet someone. They want to meet someone special. So I thought I'd use this forum to actually just give you some of the research on that. But anyway, let's move on and talk to you about the 4th strategy with dealing with a fake, and that is calling their bullshit. Calling their bullshit. Just nipping it in the bud straight away. I'm just warning you that if you do that to someone that is an extreme fake and someone that's bordering on narcissism, they can turn on you because they feel like, shit, this person has sussed me out, and they're going to hate that, and their hate is going to turn into revenge. But if you're the sort of person that operates a little bit like me these days, and I've got this invisible bubble around me where I don't allow, people's poison to actually go too far into that bubble, you can actually use this strategy, you can. And you can nicely just say to, hey, I just want to let you know that I just really feel like you're not being yourself when you talk to me. You're too paranoid about, showing your true colours, and, you just sort of fake talk. And, mate, it doesn't work for me. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to a subject that's going to be useful for the single people out there. Getting the girl or the guy you want. Getting the girl or the guy you want. So, the first thing I'll say to you is what women want and what men want are two different things. All right? Two different things. So let me explain that. Like, generally speaking, what a guy wants is physical attractiveness, right? So this physical attractiveness can actually, transcend country to country, right? So you just got a girl that's just got very attractive features and just physically attractive. She's physically attractive in Thailand. She's physically attractive in New Zealand. She's physically attractive in Australia. It transcends. She's physically attractive. That's what guys want. They're built as having that as their number one driver in attractiveness of a female. With females, well, someone asked me, Tom, does age, money and looks matter for a female when they're looking at guys? It'd be easy to say, no, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter. It does matter. However, it doesn't matter nowhere near as much as what it does for a guy seeking a girl. Doesn't matter what a girl wants. Get ready for it. And this is evidence-based research on a lot of authors that have written books about mating, courting, sexual attractiveness. What a woman wants in a guy is higher social status than them. That's what they're looking for. They want to date someone that has got a higher social status than themselves. That's what they want. And the good news is, if you're a guy that's watching this, there are certain things that you can do. There are certain actions you can take that are going to sort of take you up the curve and make you far more attractive to females. So, and by the way, when I say social status, sometimes you'll see like an artist, a musician, right? That's got very little money, but what's actually happening is the girl sees potential in high social status. You'll see this in sports. You see the girl dating a football player who hasn't really made it yet, but there are aspirations that this guy is going to be really, really successful later on. And what she's doing is she's backing a horse early on, right? So a couple of things that I would say to you that you need to know is age. And by the way, I found it very interesting that a guy's age attractiveness peaks at age 31. And this is what I couldn't even get over the research, that a female at 20 can still find males at age 40, 45 being attractive. However, it doesn't work so much the other way around, that a female's attractiveness peaks at age 21. Of course, testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, guys and girls, let me just tell you, should I just write something? Is it the sound? Changing batteries. We're back. So, a couple of the things that I'd say to you. Tips. Let's go through some tips here. I think girls don't want a desperate, needy guy, right? Very important. Step number 2. So you're far better off being, vulnerable and new than being desperate and needy. The next thing is, you got to understand, to every guy out there that's watching this, please understand, the research says that when a girl meets a guy, she takes 3 positions. She's either going to be receptive, and that is, she really, really is attracted to that person. The second thing is, she might be unreceptive, and that is, you're wasting your time. She's not the one. The third position is the neutral, and that is, over the next 2 minutes, she may move from being neutral to either unreceptive or receptive. So what you've got to do is, it's a little bit like prospecting. You've got to actually have more conversations, because you're going to put yourself in the position to be having more interactions with people that are in the neutral position. And the neutral position means that they may move from neutral to receptive. So guys and girls, what I would say to you right now is understand that in some ways, the dating game is no different to the prospecting game. However, what you say matters. And those first 2 or 3 minutes are super critical. So my advice is that you can't fake it, because there'll be people, and females have the intuition to work out whether you're faking it or whether there's a genuine confidence in there. So that goes back to what I was talking about, unique psychological fingerprint. What you want to do is just be you, be vulnerable. Like, I can tell you, it is far better for a guy watching this video to go over and approach a girl and say, hey, listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm shit scared to come up and chat to you, but I thought if I didn't, it would be one of the biggest mistakes I'd ever have in my life. So there, right? That would be a far better, thing to say, because it's the truth, if it was the truth. The other thing I would say is, I know this sounds weird, me saying it, but what you've got to do is avoid coming across as if you're an investigator, where you just ask question after question after question, right? That's creepy, right? You don't want to end up sounding like you're, Jan Event on 60 Minutes. And in fact, I would say it's one of the few times that running assumption statements is better than asking questions, right? And what is an assumption statement? What is an assumption statement? It would be something like this, saying to, let me think of one. Okay, saying to a female, instead of saying, oh, can I ask you what sort of work do you do? You say something along the lines of this. Hey, I bet you've got a really exciting, creative job. Am I right? And then what happens is she might turn around and say, oh, why do you say that? And then you've got this free-flowing conversation. You see what the response is. So assumption statements are really good. Or something like this. Hey, I bet you do a lot of gym and cardio work. Or, hey, I bet you spend a lot of time traveling overseas, or whatever it is, and then wait for the response. The other thing you've got to do is avoid what I call filler words. Filler words are people that are really nervous, and they'll say something. I'm going to give you an example. I'll give you an example of one with filler words and one without filler words. So here's an example, one with filler words. I like going to Byron Bay because it's like a really great place that's got this real, vibe to it, and like the beaches are some of the best there, and some of the restaurants there, like they're second to none, right? So you can see how the like and sort of make something sound like 4 minutes instead of the opposite, which is, hey, I love Byron Bay. It's got the best beaches, it's got an incredible vibe, the restaurants are second to none, and if I had my way, I'd be there every 3 weeks. Far different tone. So avoiding filler words is important, and I think the other thing that I notice is that guys that come across confident, they don't say yes to anything. They've got an opinion, they've got a view, right? So they stand for something. They're not sitting there, oh yeah, I agree with everything you said. Yeah, you're right, you're right? People hate that bullshit, right? Because you're trying to say yes to everything, right? I think what's attractive is that you always say the truth. Say, do you think so? I don't think so. I actually don't like Byron Bay. I think Byron Bay, to be honest with you, smells a lot. There's a lot of people that are sort of off their faces in the middle of nowhere. It's not my place. I'd far rather be at Noosa, right? What I'm getting at is this: just be you. It's the biggest strength that you've got. It would be remiss of me not to actually touch on, you can actually improve your desirability a lot by simple stuff like, you know, like I can tell you, presentation, style, grooming, straight away are going to add 30, 40, 50% of points to you. So you just get this kickstart, right? So a lot of the times that means sort of, you know, maybe working out a little bit more at the gym, you know, that's going to give you confidence, also going to make you feel better, look better, everything, all pluses on that one. And the last thing I'll say to you is understand that when you're playing in the game of dating, you've got to accept rejection. But what I notice about people that always have a lot of luck in the world of dating is that they don't personalize rejection. They sometimes realize that they've been knocked back and it's got very little to do with them, but it's got a lot to do with the fact that it was the wrong person. She may have a boyfriend. She may be going overseas tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock and the last thing she wants to do is have a long conversation with someone. So what they do is they understand that there are events that may actually make that person reject you and they don't personalize it. So, by the way, guys and girls, if there's someone that you think is a little bit lonely, that needs some tips, share this video. It might be useful for them, right? So the last topic I was going to talk to you about, and I'd love to get come on over. Love to get it. Before we move on to staying positive when things fall apart, what can we wire him up? Get the owner on? Alrighty. Come over here, Mr. Demuris. Mr. Demuris. How are you?
Hello, mate.
So listen, mate, we're streaming on. He's come on, beautiful. He's coming on, perfect.
We've got enough people watching, mate.
Mate, we've got enough people. Got enough people watching. We're gonna. I reckon that by Tuesday night, this is going to have 20,000 views, right? So, mate, and by the way, this is no way in any way a paid advertisement. Like, mate, I didn't even buy the beer from me. I brought it from outside.
Correct.
Anyway,
license.
Right. So, Con, I talk about a concept. I say you make a great pizza, you'll make money. You have a great process, you'll make a fortune. I can't help it. This place here, 7 days a week, it's just moving over. People are coming in and going, right? Why do you think that is? Like this place here, guys, honestly, it's non-stop. Why do you think it is? The food's good.
Okay, we know the food's good. We've introduced pizzas.
Yeah.
We've never had pizzas before.
The food's good. Prices are cheap.
Prices are very cheap.
How much for a pizza here?
Pizzas start from $16.50
Okay.
up to $19.
So this is why I think it's successful. You've got food. This is the model for success. Fast, good, cheap. Fast, good, cheap. Uber, fast, good, cheap. And I reckon that that's what your model is. because your prices are really realistic, the service is fast, the food is good. How are you going to fuck up?
It's very hard to fuck up, especially when you buy an institution. I mean, this place has been around since the 50s. So
1952.
1952 to be exact. It started next door as a gambling casino. Got raided by the police a few times, I've been told.
Was this Italian gambling casino?
Italian gambling casino, card players.
Right.
There is a little button there that an old Italian guy showed me. Ciao Bella. Come and say goodbye to Tom. Come on, you gotta.
Come on over. Oh, she's fixing her hair.
Go.
Oh yeah.
So
what? Tell us before you go. Tell us what's your story. Hang on. What's your story?
Virginia is the
No, I'm not super.
Look this way. Look at the cat.
I need to go home now.
What time you start today?
I'm start 11.
11 o'clock.
Yeah, and now it's at 9.
Is
Yeah,
it busy?
10 hours.
Was it busy today?
Was it busy? Because there is here the big boss.
Oh.
Okay. Let me ask you. What's your name?
Virginia.
Virginia. How long have you been in Australia?
3 years.
Do you like it here?
Yes.
You like it here?
Yes.
Do you want to stay in Australia?
Really?
Yeah.
Not forever.
Listen,
Maybe another 4-5 years.
Virginia, I don't want to put you on the spot, but one of the topics we were talking about is what does a girl want in a guy? What are you looking for in a guy?
Come on,
we were talking about it, right? What is it you're after?
Can you hear it?
The first,
That's right.
I look the eyes.
The eyes?
Yeah.
Okay.
To do like
And then the toes.
green or blue. And then the hands.
Yes?
And then the...
Yes? Okay. And what? But can I ask you?
Yeah.
But do you like money? Social status? You like? What do you want to do? You want to marry? You want to marry a bum?
No,
No, you don't.
She's got a boyfriend. Look her.
Oh, you got a boyfriend.
He's
Look.
a pizza maker.
Where is he?
He's working now.
You're going home to see him now.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you better go home.
Okay.
Okay.
Arrivederci.
Okay,
Ciao, Bella.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All righty.
So,
She's good.
Yeah, very good.
Good,
One of
yeah.
my top girls.
One of your top girls.
She's been here since 11 a.m. So it's what 9 hours.
Okay. Can I ask you how many hours you work? You reckon a week?
It's very hard to say. Look, it depends on the public holidays. We were very very busy, so we did plenty, like over 60 hours a week. And there's weeks when now coming up, we'll do 30 hours maybe.
You do 30 hours only.
I'll do 30 hours.
Mate, you got the process here of McDonald's. Works away. It's got routine. That's why you do it.
Yeah, look, it's as I said, we've taken Bar Italia to the next level. I mean, we're not going to talk about Bar Italia tonight, but it has. We've taken a model that's been here for a very very long time, and we fine-tuned it. Myself and my partners have been in the business for many many years, so we know the know-how. Introduced pizzas. Introduced my brother-in-law's the gelato maker, best gelato in Sydney. That's a plug. Yeah.
You're a legend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Listen, I'm going to finish off this rant here now. Guys and girls, I just want to touch on that last topic. We'll unhook him. That was, of course, Condemuris. Come down to Bar Italia, get yourself a coffee, get yourself some gelato, get yourself a pizza. Good prices. Anyway, let's move off that. You know, this week, I can't get over it. The billionaire from Denmark, owner of Asos, ends up losing 3 of his 4 kids. We're on? 3 of his 4 kids. Extraordinary in the Sri Lanka bombings. And it made me realise, how do you stay positive when things totally fall apart? So I thought I'd just write 5 points that I want to cover. How do you stay positive when things fall apart? And by the way, when I say things fall apart, this guy, like, for some people, they never respond after that. And let me give you some statistics. The divorce rate when you lose 1 child is heading close to 40%. The divorce rate when you lose 2 childs means it's unlikely that you'll be staying married. So let alone 3 children. But let's use an example that isn't losing 3 or 4 kids. What happens when something shit happens in life, right? Not as shit as that. That's hard. That's very hard. And it just goes to show that money doesn't get rid of problems. It might help you arrive at your problems with style, but it doesn't get rid of your problems. And this is what this billionaire from Denmark is going through right now. What I was going to say to you is, here are 5 things that I do when something really, really bad has happened. Bad diagnosis, you know, the loss of loved one, betrayal, whatever. Financial, you know, hurdles. Number 1 is, ask yourself this question. Out of 10, 10 being really, really bad, worst problem in the world, 1 being not a big problem, where does it scale? Scaling is a very good technique to look at things for what they are, not the way that you've catastrophized them. Strategy number 2 is ask yourself this question. Will this be a problem? Will this be a problem in 3 months? Will this be a problem in 6 months? Will this be a problem in 12 months? So I think sometimes what we do is we magnify and amplify the magnitude of the problem. Strategy number 3 is something that you can start doing right now before you get the problem, and that is to begin to realize, to become resilient, you must learn to accept that life is in fact got suffering. You will bury people you love. You will have bad stuff that will happen. And what happens is, when you already factor this in, when it does occur, it doesn't knock you for a 6, and you might fall down short term, but you'll respond because you knew that it was always going to happen. Now, this does not mean that you're anticipating negative things are going to happen all the time. This is saying, hey, life is in fact suffering, and what I need to do is embrace the suffering and realize that there's a silver lining in suffering, and that is that you actually become a better person when you endure suffering. So for me, guys and girls, there's the great book by Ryan Halliday, which is The Obstacle is the Way. It's a very good book. But read up on any literature, any Buddhists, any spiritual books. The next thing I'll say is I can tell you, spirituality is one of the go-to places when something shit happens. Now, I don't know what that means for you, but I would suggest that you get yourself a pit crew of people, and you've got a pit crew, a spiritual advisor, maybe a personal trainer, a legal and accounting expert. But what you want to do is have a crew of people that are there as part of your, just like a race car pit stop, that's what you need to have. The next thing I'll say to you, strategy number 4 is, and I've used this has been my go-to strategy when I've had something really, really shit happen, is I just get super obsessed with something, because the distraction means that I don't catastrophize and dig a deep hole and get into a spiral. I just get super busy. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, Tom, but you're not facing the problems. Hey, you do what you've got to do to get through your period. You're the subject, you're the scientist. There's no golden template. But for me, I get obsessed with doing something, and that for me, it's work. I just sort of begin to double the amount of work that I do. I get immersed in it, and I'm lucky, I love work. I've always said that if you love work, leisure can be a bit of it's overrated. If you love your job, I reckon leisure's overrated. Hey, how are you? And that, by the way, is Con Damaris's wife, the wife of the owner that I was just speaking to. So, guys and girls, I want to thank you for joining in, constantly trying to, change locations, change what we're doing on video. Do me a favor, if you've thought the content on anything we spoke about was good, please share it. Press that share button, tag someone. But also letting you know I'm in Brisbane tomorrow for 2 conferences. Tuesday I head to Bali for a conference. real estate gym members. We've got some great content going into the gym this week. Look forward to connecting with you there, and talk to you next week. Signing off. Can I get you to sign off?